Alrighty, welcome to the live stream, peeps. I'm just gonna wait for a bunch of you to show up and come in and join us. Today, we're gonna be talking about anything to do with plumbing with everybody. Now, I attempted to open up the super chats here, and I'm not sure if they're actually gonna work or whatnot. So we're gonna see. But overall, the date today is Saturday, May 16th, and oh, we got somebody in the room. What's going on? How are you? Tell me about yourself, Dave. What's happening, Dave? I had some trouble uploading or starting this live stream. We got a few people. We got 3 peeps here. What's going on? Tell me how you guys are holding up. How are you, peeps? Andrew from Dayton. Oh, what's going on, Andrew? What's going on? So check this out. Oh, Mokum from Dubai. Wow, that's from another part of the planet far. Dubai is warm, I think. Dubai is amazing. Thanks for checking us out and for hanging out. We're going to be doing about an hour here. Just wanted to, I just want to pop on to see how you guys are doing, honestly, how you peeps are doing. How's everything holding up with COVID? Are you peeps still working? Are you not working? What's happening? I'm curious. We got more people in. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button if you can. Since you're already here. Dave, on my bucket list, Mokum. Yeah, me too, Dave. I would love to be in Dubai. So, Mokum, let me see. Mokum, are you a plumber from Dubai, or are you getting into the trade, or what's going on? What's plumbing like in Dubai? I'm curious. Everything, I've had a few people that lived in Dubai. I met a guy that lived in Dubai, and from what I understand, if he wasn't working in Dubai, he was shipped out right away. Is that a such thing? I assume there is. In the service van, Andrew. Oh, you're on a call, are you? What are you guys doing right now, Andrew? What are you guys hitting up? What kind of plumbing you doing today? By the way, look, you guys don't have to, but I tried to activate Super Chat today. I don't know if it's activated. You am a barista working in a coffee shop. Okay, Mokum. Oh, are you thinking about getting into plumbing? Really in gold, not being sarcastic, just what I heard. Dave, I heard Dubai is a very wealthy area of the planet. And anybody I've met that's been to Dubai or worked in Dubai had a visa to work in Dubai, and the moment their visa expired, they were literally picked up and taken to the airport. So I don't know. Mokum, let us know, man. We don't know enough about Dubai. We're curious to find out all the info of what's happening, what's going on. But before I was working in an armored car manufacturing company in straight group company. Wow, Mokum, that is some life experience right there. Armored car manufacturing. Whew. So, Mokum, what were you doing at that manufacturer? Were you actually assembling, or were you part of management? Dave, you sweet creature. Dave, you sweet person. Dave, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the love. $2. I just want you to know all the super chats are going towards the channel. Going towards the channel. I ain't going to buy burgers with them. I'm going to buy editors. I'm going to make more videos. So anybody that can hit up a super chat if you feel like it, it's going straight back to you guys. So you're basically just helping me out getting editing done. So you were a mechanic, Mokum. That is some pretty wicked stuff. So, Mokum, what led you to plumbing? How did you find out about Kenny Molotov? Are you thinking about switching trades? Are we right about, well, is David right about it being all gold? Dave, honestly, I haven't heard of it being made of all gold. Mokum, yes to the visa thing that I was talking about, or yes to the gold thing? Oh, man. The curiosity. We got 8 people here. Peeps, what's going on? Hit that thumbs up if you can. We got $2.80. Is there a second super chat? Laureate, when are you going to upgrade them sweet Nipex? Let me explain. I already got Nipex. What am I supposed to upgrade them to? Is there a different Nipex I'm supposed to be using? About the visa issue. Okay, so I am right about that. Is David's thing? Is there a lot of gold in Dubai that we don't know about? Or I don't know about, I should say. By the way, Dave, again, love you for the super chat, fam. Thank you so much for that. Laureate, which Nipex, if your visa got finished, you have to go for visa change. Yeah, that's right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Are there must be people native to the country, though, like, meaning there are people that live there, obviously, that don't need visas because they just live there. Is that a thing? Uh, is that a thing, or are we Mokum? I'm curious to know. Laureate, tell me more about the sweet Nipexes. I got one pair. Do I need more? Did you not see them? They're like, they're toothless. They got that wicked, what do you call it? The button that you push to change the size, man. Wicked, wicked pair, man. Wicked, wicked pair. They got slip lock now. Makes it super easy. Change up sizes. Ah, okay. Maybe I need the slip lock. Maybe that's what I need to do. I might need an upgrade. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I was told by a subscriber, I don't talk to the man very much. What's his name? Kyle Fogel. Kyle Fogel once kind of hit me up and said, bro, you need to get yourself some nitpicks. No, everyone here needs a visa. Okay, Mokum, I got you, man. I got you, friend. Yeah. There's a big visa issue down there. Is Dubai doing well, Mokum, with COVID? Or how are the numbers there? Is everybody safe? Are you guys isolating? What's going on? Laureate, how about you? Are you isolating? What's going on in the area you live? David, are you still at work? Andrew, service and repair. What kind of service are you doing today? What kind of repair? Are you doing a P-trap? You really love the U.S.? Mokum, you been? Have you tried Weha screwdrivers? I have heard good things about them. Dave, I have not. I am a Milwaukee screwdriver guy. I have, and it's got a ratchet function to it, so you can change the ratchet from forwards, and you can unscrew as well with a ratchet function as well. So that's something I use. What are they called? I'm in Ontario, working nights as of late to avoid large groups. Oh, you're in Ontario as well? Well, fellow Ontarian right here. Yeah, I have that one as well. I saw yours in the video. Yeah, Dave, that's the one I use. It's pretty badass, if you're going to ask me. Laureate, you're in Ontario, working nights to avoid large groups. Smart. That's a good option for sure. Are nights kicking your butt right now, or how are you handling them? You coping all right? Before I was working in the military in my country in Africa for over 8 years. Mokum, man. Wow, what a story. What life experience. Matt, Kenny, you have over 100 college credits from the past 10 years, off and on while working. Should I submit these with my union application if the grades are hit and miss? Thanks. Matt, do they ask for, drains, boiler drains, etc.? Busy. It's great. Andrew, good work, man. Good work. Keep it up. So, Matt, are unions asking for your college credits? I never knew that they do that. I was always under the impression that you have to take a test there, and then after you take the test, they make sure that you have a high school diploma. But I didn't know if they cared about further education or college or university degree. So let me know about that. That's curious. I'm not sure. Look, my opinion is, though, Matt, if they ask for your college credits, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't provide them. I mean, the truth is that going to college is an asset. You know, despite the fact that your marks might have been low in some areas and good in some other areas, it's an asset. It shouldn't be a detriment to your situation. You know what I'm saying? So I think unions are probably, they look well towards people that are educated. You know, I mean, it's always an asset. So Matt, I'm under the impression that you probably should just hand them in. Don't be ashamed of the marks. Look, everybody gets bad marks. That's cool. You came to Dubai and applied for Armor Car Manufacturing Company and Strike Group. Wow. Laureate, been mainly in Royal York and Forest Hill. Nights aren't too bad, and a small adjustment in sleep schedule is all LOL. Laureate, so what is your schedule exactly? What time do you start work? What time do you end work? I know for me, nights would be rough. I mean, I don't know. I've worked pretty late into the evening a few days in a row, and it's not terrible, and you kind of get to work a little bit later. I just find I get really groggy if I have bad nights. So let me know. That's interesting. Matt, they only require a high school transcript here in Texas. I was wondering if it would make me more competitive. Matt, Look, honestly, if you have a college degree or if you have college credits that especially would be an asset to the work, absolutely. I think you should just put them on the resume and see how it's going and never be ashamed. Look, people get bad marks all the time, but your asset is your education. It is what you've kept in your mind. All right, Matt, I hope that helps, man. Dave, in KY, Kentucky, they only ask for high school transcript as well. Yeah, I think that's typical. I think that's typical of unions. Frank! Hey, Kenny, I was curious, how is schooling for plumbing? Is it tough? Frank, let me be real with you. Schooling for plumbing isn't the most complex thing in the world. However, it is intensive in week to week things. So, what I mean by that is that you have a test every Friday, and you're expected to memorize everything from Monday to Thursday for Friday. Now, if you are the type of individual to sit down every night or at least a couple of nights and crank out the studying, then school is going to be something you can excel at pretty well. But if you're the type of individual to leave it at the end, it might be a little bit tougher for you. So look, I did pretty well in school, but I found it quite exhausting because by 8 weeks, Peeps, hit that thumbs up if you can, man. Send some love. By 8 weeks, if it's exhausting. It's really a mental game. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fun, by the way, because you're learning things on the job, like things that you looked at on the job, and you probably thought to yourself, what's that pipe all about? Well, you're learning a lot, and it was very interesting. But yeah, it's a little bit on the tough side because of its intensity. Every Friday, like I said, you're supposed to be doing a test, doing some and doing a bunch of memorizing. So, I mean, you get into the hang of things, you get better with things as well. And I found second year probably the most difficult, and third year was a little bit tough as well. But that was a sleep issue for me. First year is pretty fun. That's the way I felt with first year. Peeps, by the way, Super Chat is live. If you want to help out with the channel, whatever money you guys donate, I'm going straight back into the channel. I'm finding editors to help me out, finding editors so that I can shoot more videos and get editors to do them. So the money's literally coming straight back into the content. So Laureate, what are you saying? Mokum, I'll answer that in. Hold on, we got Jeffrey. I know for carpenter apprenticeship, if you have college programs that related to it, it will help take off some hours. So it should be helpful. So Matt, Jeffrey is saying that it might actually be useful. So appreciate that Jeff. So Frank, I hope that answered your question, man. Mokum, so please tell me more about plumbing work in America. So Mokum, I'm not the best person to tell you those answers. I'm actually from Canada. I can tell you more about Canada if you're interested, but if you want America, we have some American friends down here that might be able to help you out. Laureate, normally I'm 5 a.m., 6 a.m. start to 4 p.m. leave. Yeah. And anywhere between 5 to 7 p.m. homes, depending on the beautiful 400 NB traffic. Oh, you're taking the 400. Okay, gotcha. So you're up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. start, 4 p.m. leave, but hold on, Laureate. If you're up at 5 a.m., so your 6 a.m. start. Okay, I got you. Okay. School is a large adjustment for most, especially if those who are not book smart. But instructors and such are understanding and extremely helpful when you show initiative and want to learn. Laureate, I gotta agree with you completely on all of that. Who was it that was asking that question? Is that Frank? Yeah, Frank. So just like Laureate is saying, again, it's an adjustment because a lot of people that go into the trades typically, and this isn't everybody obviously, typically, sitting in a classroom is a little bit rough for them because they love being on the field and active on the field and using their hands. We're tactile learners. So being in a classroom is kind of a pain for a good portion of us, in my opinion. Of course, it's just an opinion. You have to do an adjustment. You have to just crank down and do some studying, you know what I'm saying? And by studying, I did a video on this, on the best way to study for tests. A lot of memorization for me is writing things out 1,000,000 times till you get it. Check that video out on the channel. More questions. Frank, okay, I'm glad. I hope that helped. Is the UA Union Is the UA union is the best plumbing apprenticeship? In the UA union is the best plumbing. Michael, bro, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Is the UA union? Michael, sorry, dude. Give me more clarification. Mokum, am I on WhatsApp? Yeah, I'm on WhatsApp, fam. Mokum, you love technical work. So, Mokum, are you planning on getting into plumbing? What's the game plan? Are you going to be doing plumbing in Dubai? Man, that's so cool. I believe you were in George Brown. I was, Laureate. I went to Georgian College in Midland. But yeah, school was fun, especially learning all the stuff I normally don't get to deal with. Laureate, yeah, man, you're hitting on the head for me as well. So, school, like, I remember the first year of school for me was such a liberating thing because as a service plumber and as a first year service plumber, you have no idea what's behind the wall. You don't know what the pipes look like back there. My dad's snaking drains and I'm going, so what's happening here? And like, it wasn't until I got into the classroom and the teacher started drawing out double Y fittings that I finally went, oh, that's a back-to-back drain. That's how it's working. Man, I was not getting that. I was not visualizing it. It helped out a lot. Dave, Malcolm Raphael, plumbing is different depending on where you are in the States, but mostly there's service plumbing, new construction for residential, new construction for commercial. Yep. Good info there. Michael, I was thinking about the UA Union 350. Should I go to it or not? Sorry, I'm tired. Mike, don't worry. Don't worry, fam. I'm tired as well. Mike, look, I don't know much about the UA Union 350. I don't. And I don't know if there are apprentices here or plumbers here that do. Hopefully they can provide some info. But my feeling is, Mike, if you're thinking about it, you should definitely apply. Apply. You might have to, if you get in, if you're fortunate enough to get in, you might have to try it out for a bit to see if it's for you. And there's no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? There's no shame in trying it out and realizing, it wasn't for me. Let me try another union maybe. But if you're thinking about it, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Look, especially during times now, I hear some people still saying that plumbing is hard to get into, and then some people saying that it's easier to get into. Whatever. Send it out. Send it out. It's an opportunity. Go for it. Go for it, man. Basic was such an eye-opener, though. LOL. Walking in thinking you got it in the bag. Then they slap you down the first test, and you realize you're in the ride you're in for. LOL. Yeah. Basic was, wow, man. Basic blew my mind. I have to be honest. Especially in my first year. I don't know if you guys know my background as to why I got into plumbing. It was to change my financial position. It wasn't like a walk-in with passion. So when I walked in, I was like, okay, look, I'm going to take this seriously and whatever. And I'm doing stuff with dad and snaking drains going, what the hell's going on behind the wall? I don't know. And then I get to school and then I find out there is an entire section of engineering designed to build this house, to build those buildings, to build any sort of powder room. And when I found out about that engineering, my mind exploded and I realized how much fun plumbing was going to be in the future. Because now the whole thing is a customer comes up to you and says, look, I need a powder room. You're sitting down trying to figure out, okay, fixture units, do you want to add maybe a bathtub and make it a bathroom group instead? That's a different set of fixture units. Are you going to run a wet vent? Are you going to run everything with individual vents, which doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes? All of a sudden, all these options were given to you. And you're like, whoa, man, there's a real system in place. And I really didn't know that going in. And first year was a lot of fun, but it was intense. Only because you're getting into it. And then when you take second year, you realize how easy first year was in comparison. And then third year, how easy second year, even though second year was tough. And first year was tough when you experienced it, Hit that thumbs up, peeps. Love ya. So UA is United Association. Matt. Okay, appreciate you for explaining that. Matt, I don't know. I don't know much about them, unfortunately. Deontay. I passed my test to join the union, so now I'm just waiting until they schedule me an interview. Been delayed with the virus. Deontay, congrats. Congrats. That's the way to do it, fam. That's the way. You gotta keep knocking on doors, peeps, till somebody opens up. You just gotta keep knocking. A lot of people get discouraged. Deontay, was it tough getting into? Was it tough finally doing that and going through that process? Did it take forever? But I feel you about the virus thing. Look, Deontay, at the same time, think about it this way. I know it's a pain in the butt to now have to wait after you did such hard work and you finally passed, but at the same time, you're being safe. You know what I'm saying? So keep your chin up. Oh, Laureate! Laureate, you're a sweet creature. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. That is money going straight back into the channel. I ain't buying any burgers with this money. I promise you. I promise you. No food. Just editing. I'm going to be shooting videos, sending it out to editors. That's the game plan. I just want to get more content out to you lovely, lovely peeps. Laureate, I appreciate you, fam. All right. What do we got here? Okay, Mike. I hope they answered your question. I'm sorry I wasn't more useful, but I do think if you're thinking about it, send the resume, fam. Laureate, I started getting into it when I was 8 years old with my dad. Used to work with him every now and again. Took it seriously at 18, right out of high school. Haven't looked back since. Laureate, that's a great life, man, because my dad's been a plumber for 20 years now, but he was a plumber back home in the Soviet Union where he grew up. I was around my dad all the time. I hung out with my dad all the time as a kid. He was a good father to me. I didn't think about pipes whatsoever. So I helped Dad around the house. Whenever he'd do oil changes, I'd hold flashlights for him and stuff like that. But I never really learned plumbing until I got into the truck with him. So I have a completely different experience as you. But the fact that your dad started you young and you loved it from young, man, some people are just know right away what they're into. And that's a great story, Laureate. And again, I appreciate you for the super chat. You're the best. Okay, Opping Emmanuel, what's going upon? How are you doing? Can I get a website to solve more questions about plumbing? Upon, what do you mean? You want me to refer a website to you, or I'm not sure what that means. You can get one. Do you want me to? Upon, just give me more information about what you mean. Jeffrey, which trade is less physical demanding, plumbing or electrician? Jeffrey, it really depends on the type of electrical you're doing and the type of plumbing you're doing, because from what I understand, if you're doing light posts out in the street, you're going to have to dig trenches as well, or you're hiring companies to dig trenches, and there's a whole line of plumbing where you're digging trenches as well, and you either do that and save, or you're hiring out kind of like the electrician would. So it really depends. Electricians don't typically run a lot. Well, no, I don't know enough about this, to be honest. I was about to say some stuff I don't know. A lot of plumbing is underground. And here in Ontario, what I do know is inside buildings, it's not typical to run wires underground. You're running them in the walls, sort of thing, from what I've seen, okay? So in other words, in a lot of instances, plumbers are going to have to be putting pipes underground. Electricians, from what I understand, and I'm not talking about the industrial electricians, I'm not talking about hydro lines, I'm not talking about light posts. A lot of the electricians I meet are running wires inside the studs, inside the walls, basically. So it's a little bit of a different game, but I don't know enough about electrical to say it's not as demanding as plumbing physically. So you know what I'm saying? It's probably best to ask an electrician how demanding it is. On the plumbing side, what I can answer is there are days where you're going to be digging, and boy, it's going to be kicking your butt. There are days where you're going to be running cast iron, and boy, that can kick your butt as well. So plumbing can have days where it's tiring. What are we doing here? So David is saying, Jeffrey, don't think any difference. Okay, good to know. Laureate, plumbing on Reddit is good for plumbing help. Okay, Laureate, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's for a Pong, I assume. A Pong. Okay, cool. So I'm still curious about Mokum. Mokum, if you're still here, you got to let me know. Are you planning on going into plumbing out there in Dubai, man? Dubai. Man, what I would do to be in Dubai right now. But unfortunately, I don't think the parties that Dubai is known for are happening right now. I think everybody's locked in the house right now. Are there any questions that I'm missing? Is anybody needs clarification on things? Deontay, congrats again, man. That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, send me more questions. Any experience or interest in hydronics? Kyle Fogel, I was just talking about you. Kyle, we were just talking about Nipex pliers. And I was like, Kyle made me get, well, suggested that I get a good pair of Nipex pliers. And now I have them because they're awesome. So Kyle, thanks for checking in. Thanks for being here and thanks for the suggestion because they have been amazing. I only work chrome with those bad boys right there and whatever is nice and finished. So, any interest in hydronics? Kyle, honestly, I don't have any experience in it. I'd have to see. I'd have to see if it's something that my dad and I plan on getting into. Because if we are, then absolutely I'll get into it. But right now, as of being a service company, I think we have enough avenues where we can sort of, work to get more clientele and get busier that way. And then maybe down the road, we'll do a little bit more hydronics. David, Kenny, your comparison is correct, but what I saw was plumbing is heavier stuff while electrical is more detailed, working with smaller items. David, that makes a lot of sense too. The materials are definitely different. You don't see electricians running cast iron, for example, which is a pretty heavy material. Drain machines obviously can be quite heavy as well, so you got to be on top of the drain machines. And electricians, honestly, I think the biggest struggle for No, I was about to say some silly stuff again. I think one difficulty with electrical is you're constantly drilling through studs. And that is, man, it looks exhausting. I was with this one electrician in a job site. It was just him and I. And we're chatting up a storm while working. But this guy drilled like 1,000,000 holes, man. And he had to run so many wires. And, I was also drilling holes for plumbing. So that's a big struggle on the job site for them. All right, what are we talking about here? David, thanks. Jeffrey, okay, thanks, guys. I worked in a construction renovation industry. The industry is slowly destroying my body, lol. Jeffrey, look, my opinion on that is that most things are destroying our bodies in certain ways. So, for example, there are people that sit in an office and those office chairs legitimately destroy backs. And the reason why they destroy backs is because we're not really designed, from what I understand, to be sitting in a chair for that duration of time and also slouched over looking at it at a screen or whatever. So I know what you're saying. Plumbing is and construction work is hard on the body, absolutely, and it deteriorates it in a specific way. For plumbers, a lot of it is on the knees. For electricians, I hear electricians a lot of the times have shoulder injuries. They're always working above their heads, sort of thing. So absolutely, it is deteriorating it. But at the same time, I think this is the question you have to ask yourself, Jeffrey. Was it worth it? Did you love it enough that you'd do it again? Because let me tell you something. I played soccer for almost 12 years, and it definitely had an effect on my knees. If I went back right now, I would play every single game the exact same way. I might even push myself to play better. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way you got to look at things. If you don't think it's worth it, maybe a different career choice. You know what I'm saying? But if you look back and you say, man, I would have done nothing different, I think that means you found passion, and passion is what makes you smile at the end of your life. That's what I understand. So, Jeffrey, I hope that helps answer your question or that comment. We got some peeps in here. We got 18 peeps. Peeps, can you hit that thumbs up button for me? Can you be awesome and just can we hit 10? Can we hit 10 at least? And peeps, again, I activated the super chat, so if you want to help the channel, I'm going to take whatever super chats there are, I'm going to put it straight into editing. I'm not going to buy anything, but edit it with this so that I can get more videos out to you. Love you, peeps. Appreciate the likes. Oh, we're at 7 likes. Oh, you guys are lovely. Appreciate you. All right, a member. Can you answer a question about walk-in showers in condos? Okay, a member of the zoo. Sorry, yes, you did send that out. Sorry I didn't have time. Okay, yes, you can do walk-in showers in a condo as long here in Ontario as long as the materials you are using are fire rated for the condo. So in other words, if it's a residential high rise, I assume, which means that you're going to have to be working with either XFR or you're going to be working with brass and copper. Okay, so you can do walk-in showers. There are walk-in showers that are allowed as long as the drain is, again, a fire-rated material for that condo and for that codes, okay? We're at 8 likes. I appreciate you, peeps. Laureate, being in service, have you guys looked into ProPress, especially with repairs on risers that don't totally shut off? Laureate, we had a whole conversation last week about ProPress. The answer is yes. I've looked into it. I'm really aching to get it because it looks really convenient for exactly what you're saying. It looks like it's the right tool for certain service situations. The only concerns I have about ProPress are, A, the tool itself is a bit expensive, and depending on the heads you get, it can get even more expensive. But okay, put that aside. The material's a bit expensive, but you save up in speed, and that's really it. I know that there are some situations that you might not be able to ProPress because of being able to access the pipe, but I have thought about it seriously. Every single subscriber that I've ever met that talks to me on these live streams says it's going to pay for itself. You guys got to get it. I'm going to have a serious talk with Dad. We got 20 peeps here and 9 likes. Can we get those likes up to 20? Love you, peeps. Thanks for showing up. So, Laureate, in other words, yeah, I'm going to have a serious talk with Dad, and we're going to see if we can reinvest some of the profits we make into something like that, because I think it would be super useful. All right, what do we got here? We got a bunch of things. Deontay, taking the pre-apprenticeship test wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be in your mind. I was worried for nothing. The math was simple, so was the rest of it. Deontay, that's a fantastic thing to hear. 12 likes! Awesome! That's a fantastic thing to hear. I'm glad it was simple for you. I would be curious to see the test because if I could see it, I'd be able to say, look, this is what you're going to be getting in your first year apprenticeship or sorry, your first round of apprenticeship. And then your intermediate apprenticeship might be more difficult and your more advanced apprenticeship. I'm talking about school sections, right? So I'd be interested to see so that you know how well you are in it. But was the math basic fractions and stuff like that? Or what were they asking, Deontay? Beats by Devon. Devon, what's going on? I have a question. You meant to ask during the last live stream. Now that you're a journeyman, when are you taking on an apprentice of your own? Beats by Devon, we were thinking about, you know, we had thoughts about things like that before COVID, and as soon as COVID hit, it became really, really kind of difficult. So I'm hoping that at some point I could take on an apprentice and maybe even take on another journeyman or journeywoman so that we can delegate work and then start a real campaign to find new work. So it's always on our minds, in other words, but we have to sort of let it settle down right now to see if it's safe out there. Like we sort of play it safe right now, you know what I'm saying? So Devin, it's something we're definitely looking into. Peeps, again, I don't want to be reminding you all the time, but if you're new to this live stream, Super Chat is activated, so if you want to support the channel, all the funds are going to go straight back into the channel, into editing, and help that way so I can get more videos out to you peeps. More questions. A member, David Dillon, smash the like button. That's what I appreciate. Aaron R. liked as well. Love you peeps. Apong, I'm an apprentice about a month ago, but I want to study further so I can write exams about it. So are there any helpful websites? So Apong, Laureate was saying that it was Reddit. Reddit's pretty good on learning stuff. Also, I mean, if you need help with plumbing math, I do have a plumbing math course. That's something you could look into. It is a pay-for course, though. So that's something you could look into. I don't know. I'm going to be building more courses in the future, but right now I don't even know who to refer you to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be very useful. Maybe the peeps down below will. Terry Kennedy, what's going on? Appreciate it. David is saying, Apong, there are websites that offer online practice tests. Have you looked at them? Yeah, Apong, that might be a good idea. Take a look at them, see what information you know, what you don't know. It might be a good step towards what you think you should start studying. Kyle, do you prefer service over new construction? If so, why? Kyle, I'm actually more interested in new construction. And I think that's because my roots and my background is all service. So any opportunity that I get to do a new rough in, or my dad and I have built a few coffee shops in the past, about 4 of them, I think. Anytime we do that, it's always the most fun for me. I get really excited in those circumstances because you got to take all the variables and all the codes, and now you got to come up with a decent game plan to make it as cheap as possible, but standard of code, of course, so that you walk away with as much money as you can, and also it's cheaper for the customer in the long run as well, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So that is my answer for that. Atlantic Media. My boss charged me $800 for leak damage from small leak from my helper. Thoughts? Your boss charged you $800 for leak damage from a small leak from my helper. Atlantic Media Management. So you're a plumber and something that you did caused a leak and your boss charged you for that. I was always under the impression, and I could be wrong, that that's why bosses have insurance, so that they don't have to charge. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. Let me send that out to the peeps. Peeps, let me know what you think. I thought that was something insurance would cover so that your boss doesn't charge you directly. But I could be wrong. Maybe the boss had to pay out of pocket, then you got stuck with it. That's a interesting situation. Has that happened to anybody else? Beats by Devon, are you doing new construction this time around or still service work? Beats, I'm doing mainly service work right now. New construction has sort of stopped. I should stipulate a lot of renovations have stopped for our company. So normally it's renovation season right now. People are going to want their basements done. People are going to want, all sorts of things done. People are renovating kitchens and whatever. That's not happening right now. A lot of places are shut down. They don't want people to come in. Condos, a lot of the condos that we service basically said to everybody, no, we're not doing any construction. So right now it's typically all service. Ryan Owens! Ryan Owens, you're a sweet creature, man. Peeps, Ryan Owens is my good buddy from plumbing school. He's also in the union. He's my go-to union rep, really. He's the person I go to go, is the union doing this? Is the union doing that? Devon. Devon, I hope that answered your question. David is saying to Kyle, service all the way. I like to use brain to try to figure out the issue and then fix it. David, I hear you. You are a serviceman through and through. Kyle, without breaking the customer's bank as well. Yeah, I got you. So Apong is saying, David, there are, but I need the authentic one. So Apong, you're going to want to look up websites from the code book in wherever you're living, basically. So if you live in Ontario, Canada, you're going to want to look up those tests for Ontario code. That's something you want to look into, okay? So wherever you live, you want to look up codes and basically websites from there. Ryan, love you, buddy. Stone Cold, what's your thoughts on using ProPress versus the old school way of Cooper? Oh, of copper, I think you're saying. Which method do you prefer to use? I got to be honest, I haven't ProPressed before. ProPress looks like it's a lot of fun. I do have a sentimental feeling about copper. I kind of love working with copper, and I kind of love soldering. And I'm constantly trying to update my soldering skill. So, and again, ProPress is copper as well, from what I understand. But I think specifically talking about soldering. Soldering is really close to my heart. Like, I really love it. I think there's a real art to it. And I think I'm not even as proficient as some of the people you see on Instagram. Peeps, some of the Instagram stuff blows my mind. How beautiful people can solder. There's a cat I follow that does such good work, fam. Such good work. Really, really impressive stuff. Stuff that I need to practice to get better at, So Stone Cold, hope that helped. David is saying, yeah, why not insurance payment? Was it accident? He might have thought deliberate and not want to file claim. Of course, I'm not saying it was, but he might have thought it was. Dave, yeah, that's a weird one for me too. If it was deliberate, oh man, even if it was deliberate, you still go through insurance for stuff like that. No, I don't know. That's a weird one for me. So Devon is asking, have you used the Wamaki PEX expander yet, or do you use PEX crimper? When you do PEX? Okay, so Devon, my dad recently bought the Wurzbo expander. Whenever we work with PEX, though, it's a crimper. We're not using the expander. And by the way, I only used Wurzbo in it was first year plumbing school, and it's a really cool system. I haven't used it ever since, but my dad bought the expander because he's run into situations where he's called out to a service call and the pipe behind it is Wurzbo, and he's sitting there going, how am I going to convert from Wurzbo to PEX or Wurzbo to copper? Like, it sometimes it's virtually impossible. 16 thumbs up. You peeps are the best. Love you, peeps. Thank you for that. If you haven't hit your thumbs up, please do so. You guys are the best. So, Devin, I hope that answers your question. We always use crimpers, though. David, you're right. Soldering is an art that is being lost. Dave, do you think it's going to be totally weaved out? You think that's going to be a thing? Ryan Sands, Steve Lav, the cat you follow. Okay, no, the cat I follow is PB Plumber. PB Plumber, his pipe work is immaculate. Big fan of this guy's pipe work. This guy is an artist at heart. Seems like a really cool cat as well. He also does day in the life vlogs. So if you guys check him out, he does way more day in the life vlogs where he's explaining things like specific on the job site on how he does things. So really cool cat. Check him out. Kyle, soldering type of copper all day, every day with a B-tank turbo torch rig. Kyle, you got a passion for the solder as well. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm passionate about and I really enjoy. Look, anytime I get to do some soldering, I'm a happy camper. You know what I'm saying? I'm using a turbo torch as well. Kyle, are you a fan of the turbo torch? Because my dad never had a turbo torch. I don't even know what the torch tip was for him. But what I liked about his tip was that you can really get a really nice, solid, low flame. And with that solid, low flame, you can do some really good capping work whenever you're working with copper drainage. And that's something with the turbo torch that's a little bit more difficult because in order to keep the turbo torch going, you need a little bit more gas going through it, and it's way faster of a flame. So that's something I've noticed over the past. Dave, soldering being lost? No, but do you see PEX or clamp on being used? But do see PEX or clamp on being used more, sadly. Dave, I mean, I think it's the convenience of it. Like, I hear you. I'm the same way. Anytime I have an opportunity to pull out the torch to do some soldering, I'm there. But look, whenever we're doing a rough-in, man, it's so much faster to run PEX. Just way faster. And you know what I really like about ProPress that I don't think we talked about last week is that ProPress itself comes with, and I assume you still clean them, but the fittings and the pipes already look so great with ProPress. So all you gotta do is zzz, click, and then you got this beautiful looking piece of art at the end of it. But with solder and with copper, what you have to do is you got to get down onto it. You got to clean that bad boy nice. You got to solder it. You got to clean it again nice. So, and again, with the solder, you got to do that thing where you're really just touching it to get in. Like, there's a lot more intricacy going on and a lot more kind of mental play going on. Is it too hot, too much flame? Do I have to lower the flame? Should I heat this bad boy up nice and slow? Or am I dealing with something like brass, which needs a lot of heat to get heated? So there's a lot of play there and a lot of variables to be aware of. Devin, have you thought about making a separate course about fixture units and blueprints or some videos about fixture units with the code book, etc.? Devin, I remembered your suggestion. I'm on top of it, fam. Don't you worry. I'm thinking about doing a video where I take you through a house probably my house, and I go ahead and I show you what exactly goes on during the engineering. So I am planning on doing a video like that, but I do think a course is lined up and going to be happening at some point. If the super chat money keeps coming in, I can get an editor and get those videos out to you peeps a little bit faster, because let me tell you, there's nothing more difficult than doing an 8-hour day and then coming home and editing for another 8 hours for a vlog. So if I get a couple more people inside here to help me out, it would be really cool. Sweet, that'll be very helpful. Devon, I got you. I heard the suggestion. I thought it was a great idea. I appreciate you letting me know. Peeps, I'm also always open to suggestions. So if you ever want to just say, hey, what do you think about a video like this or a video like that? I'm always open. I'm all ears. That would be cool. Kyle, love the Turbo Torch. I've got the A2, A3, A5, A8, A11, and A32 tip. It's nice to size the tip appropriately to the pipe size. ProPress definitely has its appeal, though. Heck yeah, ProPress has its appeal. It looks super convenient. And I don't know about you peeps, but every time I've watched a ProPress video, there's something super satisfying about that click at the end. Am I right? You hear it go zzz, click, and you're like, whoa. That thing is not moving, man. That thing's not moving. That click, for some reason, makes me go, man, I got to try this thing. All right. Questions. More questions. You know, I wonder if at some point copper soldering is going to be something of the past. Like, do you remember there was a point in history where galvanized was being used for plumbing in buildings? So I go into really old buildings. Oh, Vens are here. What's going on, Vens? Nice to see you. I go into older buildings and they have all galvanized systems, and galvanized systems are really similar to heating pipe in the sense that you got to thread them, you got to tape and dope them, you got to take 2 pipe wrenches to it. So it takes longer, just the whole threading process, you know what I'm saying? And then when the war efforts were over, they went back to copper because, look, soldering is a little bit faster and assembling a little bit faster. Maybe ProPress and PEX is the future of that, so that one day we'll be walking into homes and buildings and we'll be going, hey, I saw a house today that had soldered copper. Isn't that cool? Oh, peeps, I got to tell you a story. I walk into this lady's house with my dad, and we're doing a service call. This is before COVID. This was late 2019, and she comes out with a stick like this, with a really round head and a small little knob on the end of it, and it's all made of wood. And she goes, "Do you know what this is?" I go, "No." She goes, "It's a leak stethoscope or a water stethoscope." I go, "So what do you do with it?" She goes, "Well, put it up to your ear, and then put it up to your dad's chest." And I literally was listening to my dad's heartbeat through this stick. Lo and behold, this lady was the daughter of a plumber in Scotland many years ago. Many years ago. And she was showing me all his old torches and all his old, and this stethoscope as well. It was the most fascinating thing I had ever seen. It was the coolest device. And you know what? The moment I heard my dad's heartbeat, it's like, oh, I'm checking everything. So I was going around her place going, oh man, I could hear this, I could hear that. It was just so cool. So cool. There's so much history in this trade that I would love to learn more about. You know what I'm saying? We got a message from Sean. Sean Kalitri, are you a plumber in Canada? If so, which province? I'm doing a 4-year apprenticeship in Vancouver. Sean, I am a plumber in Canada, in Ontario, Canada. I'm licensed. I just got licensed in 2019, and congrats on your 4-year apprenticeship. So you and I are you're gonna do the Red Seal at some point, and I just did the Red Seal last April, right? Not the April that just passed, the April before that in 2019. And good luck with that. Good luck with that. Congrats. I hope everything's going well in Vancouver. Sean, are you currently working there, or are you taking time? Like, I know that from what I heard, Vancouver's doing okay with numbers from what I heard for COVID. Are you Is everything back full-fledged, or are you guys still taking it easy? Vens, appreciate you stopping by. Always love seeing you. Curious about the longevity of the ring in ProPress, though. Kyle, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how long ProPress has been around. Do peeps know? Do you know if it's been like a decade, or is it only really, really recent? David, can you talk about your drain camera system? Do you like it? How hard to use it? I could definitely do that. Dave, we have, man, I don't even know the name of the machine. We had to buy this machine from America because the drain machines here in Toronto or Ontario, I should say Toronto because that's where we were looking. Your cheapest drain machine was you're looking at 10 grand for a drain machine. I'm sorry. Are you asking drain machine or drain cameras, Dave? You're talking about the drain camera system. That's right. The drain camera, that's correct. We bought it from America. It was like 2,500 American or something like that, or 1,500 American. It was cheaper to buy from America. And remember, the American dollar is stronger than the Canadian dollar, so it was even more in Canadian dollars. And then to ship it over here was even more, and it was still significantly cheaper than the ones here in Toronto. So it was a good buy. There was a learning curve on learning how to locate for me, unfortunately. So it took a few years for me to really get proficient at it. And remember, we don't get a lot of drain camera inspections, but we've had enough to now I know how to go onto a job site. I know how to activate it. I need time, but I can eventually find the camera. And you know what? I've gotten better at it, but I had a hard time figuring out how the darn locator worked. It kicked my butt for a long duration of time. And I remember Dad and I were really insecure about that because it only did half the job. If, you know, like you can see what the blockage is, you can see if there is a blockage or if there was a collapsed pipe or whatever, but we didn't know how to locate it at the beginning. So it was really tough to figure out. And I don't know if they sent a DVD on how to locate it or we misplaced it ourselves or whatever, but I couldn't find it. I looked at so many videos online and I still didn't understand the system. But thankfully, at some point, after watching enough different videos, I came to realize, okay, so this is how many hertz you got to keep it on. It's actually easier to follow the camera as you're pushing it rather than push it 40 yards and then you got to go 40 yards to start finding it. I've gotten into so much trouble trying to do it that way because you have to walk a 40-yard perimeter and you're like, man, this is a little bit of nonsense. So, Dave, I hope that answered your question. How hard is it to use it? So, Dave, it was a little bit difficult. It's much easier now. The camera section of it is the easy part, right? Like the camera just goes. You just send it down. It just has to have power. The locator was what was tough. But what I typically do now is I follow the camera as it's moving, as it deviates in path, okay? Vens, you should have vlogged that. How cool. Yeah, Vens, it was the coolest moment and I didn't have a camera on me. I was heartbroken. And the lady had so much cool stories actually about her town back home in Scotland. And she was telling me about her dad, how he was a working class individual and they were a working class home. But it was only the people that had money that were able to get plumbing done and have hot water in their house. But because her dad was a plumber, he was able to actually get them hot water in the house when they started making hot water tanks and heating devices such as that. And she was just full of knowledge, man. She was a sweet, sweet lady. And she showed me all the torches. It was the coolest thing ever. I wish, man, if I ever go back, I'm telling you, I'm bringing cameras. Peeps, by the way, again, I activated Super Chat. If you want to support the channel, you could always do it that way so I can hire editors to get more videos out to you, peeps. So, we got a bunch of questions. David, I use a leak stethoscope, but looks like a medical one with the exception of the bell tip. Yes. Yeah, I know. The leak stethoscopes legitimately look like the stethoscope a doctor uses, right? This one was a stick. It must have been 3 feet, 4 feet, something like that. It was the coolest thing I had ever seen. Kyle, Yeah, think back when plumbers installed DWV systems in threaded pipe, Durham, I believe it's called. Those guys were tough as nails and super skilled with layout and install. Yeah, Kyle, it was a different game back then, man. Imagine doing a galvanized system now. It would take forever. You'd be paying so much money on labor. And I think that's what the new systems and the new technologies that are coming out are designed for. They're designed to make the labor way faster so that you can get more jobs under your belt, and also the people buying, the rough-ins are going to be winning in the long run as well. You know what I'm saying? We got Sean. Again, lots of work here. It's almost the same as before COVID. Okay, that's good, Sean. That's good. I got another super chat. Who's this? David? Sweet man. Sweet man. Did I get a new one? Oh, who gave me a massive super chat? David, did you get... Just kind of wrap on with questions here a little more. Bro, David, you sweet creature, bringing us up to $14. You sweet, sweet man. I appreciate you, David. I appreciate you a lot. All right, hold on. Sorry, I'm gone too far. Let me get back to it. So, Sean, I'm really happy to hear that Vancouver's doing well, man. I'm really happy to hear that because I hope that is the step the rest of the provinces and territories are going to take as well. Man, my heart goes out to all of you, that are struggling with this, because I know America got hit pretty hard, but I think the vents have good news. Give me one sec, Dave. Let me get back to you. Rumor has it that the ProPress gasket will last 50 years. Really? I don't mind a 50-year wait, If you call me in 50 years and say, hey, what happened? It's leaking. It ain't my fault, baby. 50 years. Okay, Devon, would you be able to make a video on using your drain snake machine? Yes, like a tutorial, and bring back Tool Tuesday for your channel. You like Tool Tuesday? All right, let me write some stuff down, man. Drain machine. Heck yeah, I could do that. Tutorial. Tool Tuesday. I can definitely do that. The only thing is with Tool Tuesdays and stuff like that, that was a point in history when I had a lot of time to do editing. My time for editing is getting really, really narrower and narrower, so that's why I need to hire out. I need to find people to help me out so I can get more content out to you guys. Thanks for the suggestion, Devon. Vens, we're starting to open up here. Awesome. In Oregon, retail stores open for first time today. Nice. We still don't have drain camera. Vens, if you haven't used it and you haven't been asked a lot about it, I'm not sure if you need it. Do you guys even get asked a lot about it? Because I remember Dad and I got asked a couple of times about drain cameras. Do you do drain camera inspection? And we said no a few times. Then we, at one point, needed a drain camera because we just didn't know which way the drain was running. And that's when we were able to borrow one through a guy. We knew a guy that kind of helped us out. So that's why we started it. But I don't know, man. I don't know if we've made our money back. I think that's what I'm trying to say, Vens. It's been 3 or 4 years since we bought it, but I don't think we've made our money back yet. So it's something that will pay itself off slowly. But Vens, I'm really happy to hear Oregon's doing well. I'm really happy to hear things are opening. Retail stores are open for the first time today. That's so cool. I hope the numbers continue going down. So David, some systems have a measurement readout on the screen which tells you how far out you are. Okay, so Dave, our machine is the Locator. The Locator tells you things. It doesn't. Unfortunately, I think it's an older system, so it won't tell you distance. It won't say how far you've gone. So what you have to do is go out and find it. And that's why maybe it was a drain machine that was cheaper because it didn't have that feature to it. But what our Locator can do is locate it, and it can also tell you approximately how far down it is because it can read the distance of the signal that it's having. So those are the two things that the Locator can do for us. So Kyle, running a drain cleaning machine through a decrepit waste system terrifies me. Last thing I want to do is create more problems than I walked in. You rooters are a brave group, Kyle. Kyle, Nothing to be afraid of, fam. Eventually, you're like, just send the machine, man. Send it. You're good to go. You got to be clean, obviously. But yeah, I appreciate that. That was a nice comment, basically calling us brave. So Kyle, you do a lot of new construction then, I assume, and a lot of renos, I assume. That's cool to know. Deontay, yeah, I'm excited to get into plumbing. Seems fun and satisfying knowing I have a real job. Deontay, look, it is very frustrating in your first couple of years because it's a very, like, it's difficult to learn the skills. It, like, legitimately is a lifelong career, meaning you're going to constantly be updating yourself throughout your career. New technology is going to come. New types of systems are going to be out there. You're going to have to learn new systems. There are whole other sections of plumbing like backflow, like water treatment, like all these sorts of things that you can branch out into. So it's very vast, tons of information. At the beginning, it's very frustrating. My experience as an apprentice in my first year was not a lot of hands-on time. It was a lot of cleaning, a lot of running out to the truck. But at some point, you start getting it. And when you start getting it, it becomes so satisfying. You feel so in control of being able to do things. You know what I'm saying? You feel so useful to the people calling you. And you also feel really proud of yourself because it's not easy at all. Nothing came easy in this career for me. Nothing. But once you start kicking into gear, so satisfying, Deontay. Ryan, did she have one of those gas-powered soldering torches you have to pump up? So, Ryan, I'm not sure if they were gas-powered. I think the way they were is you actually had to open them up and put charcoal or wood into it and fire it up that way or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was so cool. And then she had this longer one that looked like, it kind of looked like a gun, to be honest, and it was all made of brass. It was all made of, man, what was it made of? It was made of this shiny material, man. It just looks so cool. I wish I did a vlog that day, man. I'm telling you. Devon, another thing you could do is on Tool Tuesday, talk about hot water tanks. Maybe show a cutaway of a hot water tank and talk about the components. Devon, the hot water tank might be tough for me. Because I'd have to get a hot water tank and cut it in half or find an old one or something like that. But it's something I'll definitely look into. Let me write that down. Hot water tank overview. Heck yeah. I mean, it's good info for sure. David, again, appreciate all the live chats today. We had a couple of them. Love you, peeps. Appreciate you. David, have you thought about doing Zoom with some of us that have tools you would like to know more about and put that on your Tool Tuesday? Ha! A Zoom meeting with the peeps. Okay, that could be cool. Peeps, let me know down below if that's something you'd be interested in. I've never thought about that. That's a great idea, Devon. Vens, we refer all drain stuff out. Oh, Vens, you guys don't do drain work. I gotcha. So I guess you refer the drain camera inspections out as well. So Vens, I know you've done some service. I remember talking to you about how somebody in a hotel once hired I think it was the superintendent, and they tried to change a cartridge live, and you guys ran into an issue that you were called out. I know you do some service, but is it mainly custom homes like I've seen you guys doing? Or it wasn't even, I think it was custom homes and also other things. Dave, what's going on? James Wise, how many feet will you go out before you decide that the drain machine will break and opt to jet the line instead? So James, we have 8 coils. Give me a sec. Let me do some math here. Oof. Let me do some math. So James, we go about 120 feet. That's how many cables we have. We don't go further than that because we don't have more coils than that, and because we don't know how the machine's going to handle it. Just like you said, there are situations where we run the machine and it's running into some difficulty, and because of that, we're like, okay, look, the machine's going really far. We need to opt out to take this out and maybe find a clean out that's closer towards or further downstream. So we go maximum probably 120. If we have a couple extra cables after that, we've done it before, but especially if there's a significant drop, we won't go further than that. It's typically around that area, James. And then jetting the line, the only time Dad and I do power washing, I think that's the same as jetting the line. I think that's the same nomenclature, but Dad and I power wash for maintenance purposes. We don't power wash to unclog things ever. That's something that it sounds like you mean by jetting. So we literally are hired by buildings and condos a lot of the times to come in and power wash all the stacks. By doing that, you're maintaining that the stack walls are clean. We also snake the drains first, then we power wash them. It's messy work, but honestly, it's really good for the buildings and it's really good work on our ends. They're a really good contract. So that's something we do, but we don't jet lines in order to unclog drains, James. I hope that helps you. Dave, you don't do heating work. No, Dave, we only do plumbing work. Devon, you should be able to find a hot water tank in a junkyard maybe. Yeah, it's something I'm definitely going to look into, Devon. Vens, yep. Yes, that was terrible. Vens, I know. That story you told me, man, broke my heart. That was a weekend, no less, right? Instead of calling the plumber right away, they called the super opens up the cartridge live, and then you guys got to do an emergency call. And emergency calls on the weekend are expensive, so, man, that's on them. Custom home, remodels, and lots of dental offices. Ryan is a medical gas certified. Nice. That hotel job was a nightmare. I remember you telling me about it. That was a really interesting story. I know I seen this old house, LOL. I like the way Kenny explained things on Tool Tuesday. I appreciate that. Devon. So David is going Beats by Devon. Bolivar 10-4. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what that means. Devon, will you be able to talk about heat pumps for Tool Tuesday as well? Heat pumps. Devon, I don't know much about heat pumps, so I probably won't be able to do heat pumps for you. Kyle, are there any shower valve manufacturers that stand out to you based on overall quality, customer service, and warranty? Kyle, anytime we do a shower valve, we usually go Moen. And the reason why we go Moen is because it's a pretty simple valve to install. A lot of the customers that we meet, a lot of the times, if they're not doing a big remodel or they don't want to remodel, Moen offers the option of a remodeling plate. So in other words, what you can do is literally rotozip. They have a template. Rotozip the template, and then cut out the old shower valve, and then put in a new shower valve, this Moen one, and then a remodeling plate that goes over it. And it looks really good. And when people don't want to do a major remodel where they have to break the tile, and then they have to remove the bathtub, or they don't want to break the tile and go back there and change the shower, or they're not doing a whole remodel with everything, we offer this to them, and they typically go for it quite quickly because it's fairly decent in price. It's a good couple of hours work for us, and we've done so many that we're pretty proficient at them at this point. So Kyle, we typically go Moen, and whenever we're doing PEX with Moen valves also have a PEX adapter one. So you could buy a Moen valve with PEX on left and right, but you still have to you have to convert the shower head, and you got to also convert the toe test or the spout as well. So Kyle, we typically go for them. Anytime we meet a different shower control valve, especially one with many settings and many diverters, like you have handheld, you got toe test, and you got shower, it's always a mission to do those, I find. So Kyle, what about you? Do you have a one that you're a big fan of? We do lots of Delta shower valves and Grohe Vens. Okay, so Vens, I've seen your stuff, your remodels and your custom homes. They're always really fancy. Like, these look like high-end custom homes. I saw that tub that you were telling me about. That tub was immaculate. It was a soaking tub. Whoof, whoof. The finishing work on that, too. Guys, you got an eye for detail, peeps. The hotel was all mowing. Okay, yeah, gotcha. Gotcha. But your standard is Delta. Okay, so the Vens use Delta. I gotcha. What about the components of a toilet for Tool Tuesday? Beats? That sounds good to me. Toilet components. I can definitely do that. Peeps, I'm going to call this in about 5 minutes because I'm feeling a little bit tired. I ain't going to lie. So hit me up with as many questions you have in the next 5 minutes. At 75 minutes, I'm going to call it. $6,000 tub. I know. Vens, you guys really, man. First of all, the fixture itself looks like it's $6,000. That's the most expensive fixture I've ever heard of. The most expensive fixture we've installed was, I think, something like a $4,000 toilet. This toilet, let me tell you about this toilet, okay, peeps? Peeps, first of all, you needed an electrical plug for this toilet, which means this toilet came with all the bells and whistles. It was wall hung. You walked up to the toilet seat went up on a sensor, peeps. It went up like this. Zzz. Now, it also came with a little tablet. So you're sitting on the loo. You take this tablet. You can choose your music because it's got speakers on the side of this toilet. It blows warm air. The seat is warm. Like I'm telling you, this toilet had all the bells and whistles. And what's really funny about this toilet was that if it didn't have power, this one toilet still flushed, which was awesome. In the very same house that we installed this one, we installed a $2,000 toilet. And the crazy part about that $2,000 toilet was if it didn't have power, you couldn't flush the toilet, which is, what's going on there? What's going on there? $6,000 tub. That's crazy. We installed, for a soaking tub, kind of like the one you guys did, Vents, we installed a $2,000, it was, you know that, I don't know how you call it. It was basically a gooseneck faucet that came up to pour into the tub. So, okay, so I'm on low power here. We got 4 more minutes, peeps. So this gooseneck faucet basically costed $2,000, but it also had a handheld shower for you as well. So like a telephone shower. And so that was $2,000. That was a beautiful piece. And the moment you picked it up, you understood that it was heavy with brass and metal. So it was really well made. But let me tell you, the anxiety going in to finishing this product, man, you gotta be so careful. If you're doing any plier work, it can't have teeth, man. It was really, really, really kind of tippy-toeing through it. David, are most toilets up there the old handle on the side or the push button on top? Is there any difference on the install? So David, it's back and forth. A lot of them are old handle. You do have the push on the top. The installs are almost the exact same, to be honest. The only time the install gets different is whenever people buy like a Toto high-end or middle range toilet. A lot of those toilets are designed to, hide the mechanics of the toilet, so they want the bolts to be hidden or whatever. And all of a sudden you come out with that new shoe that you got to now drill into the floor. That's the only time the install changes for us. For the most part, the push from the top and also the handle type toilets, they typically are the same until you get to that middle to high range cost toilet. Vens, yes, us too. I think you're probably talking about the gooseneck faucet. Keep up the great content, Kenny. See you next round. Kyle, appreciate the love and support. What clothing do you recommend for plumbing in cold weather? So Deontay, so peeps, I got 2 more minutes on this. So the clothing, man, okay, so it really depends on you. Dad is a big fan of a vest. So Dad wears like a work vest. And the good thing about the work vest is it both acts as an insulation. So Dad is good in some certain regards where I'm wearing a sweater. Dad's good with just a vest. His arms can get cold, but once he gets warm, he's typically good with this vest. And the other thing that you can do with the vest is it carries extra pocket space. So a lot of times if Dad has a bit that he's in love with, he keeps it in his pocket. And then he pulls out a bunch of little, he either has screws in his pockets, he's got a tiny little 3-inch level, whatever. So that's an option. I don't mind sleeves. Dad doesn't like long sleeves. They irritate him while he's working. But I'm happy with sleeves. So what I do is well, we have a Sigma sweater that I wear. But if you're talking about industrial, if you're talking stuff that your company's not going to provide, you need a good winter jacket, a really good winter jacket, something that's going to sustain you in really cold weather. Because every once in a while, you're going to have to work in, especially if you're, in areas where it gets pretty cold in the wintertime, you're going to have to work in like non-heated garages from time to time. If you're doing service, you got to run some new cast iron for old cast iron that had hairline fractures that turned into huge fractures. So you got to get a good jacket. You got to get a hat. I'm a big fan of hats. You got to get a good pair of winter gloves, like even something along the lines of like a skiing glove, because at some point you're going to be in a garage and your hands are going to get cold. And then if you have to do fine work, you want to get thinner gloves so that you can convert to them and then start working with finer work as well. So I hope that answers you. Peeps, time's up. I got to answer these real quick. Devon, would you be able to talk about the different ball valves, etc., like you did during your apprenticeship school training week 3, I think it was. Just talk about the components about them and show cutaway. Okay, ball valves. I'll look into that because ball valves are pretty awesome. Stay safe. Hey, Vens, always appreciate you coming in. Be safe as well. Love you guys. David, love you. Kenny, stay safe. Keep it up, my man. David, I appreciate all the love and support. Everybody that gave me a super chat today, appreciate all the love and support. Peeps, I'm Kenny Molotov, and I'll see you guys next week on another live stream. Talk to you soon. Be safe, be healthy, and let's keep doing some delicious plumbing.